I was born and raised in Portland, and I remember back in the day when we all lived in the North and the Northeast. I mean, it was like we all knew each other. We went to the same schools and churches, played at the same parks, and at the end of the day, there was an overall sense of family and community. But now things have changed. We no longer live in such close proximity. We've been spread out through gentrification and the overall growth of the city itself. So when I talk about Black Portland, I'm talking about a movement to celebrate each other, a movement to reclaim our identity and make our presence felt in the city of Portland.
I don't know about y'all, but I couldn't. Could y'all hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it pretty well.
Okay, well, y'all can hear me
I
though,
mean,
right?
yeah, it wasn't as loud as you are right now, but I could hear it.
Okay, well, it is what it is. Hey, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We are here with another Black Portland Live. I'm Adrian. I'm the admin of the Black Portland Facebook group. I'm here with Mr. Daryl Ramsey and Mr. Zai Ku. Can y'all say hello to the people?
As always, how's it going? You know what I mean?
So, as usual, we want to start this with a kind of a rundown of group etiquette, group activities. But this is the 2024 recap, so we got a lot of great discussion going forward. So, what y'all been up to, man, and what kind of adventures have y'all been in the Black Portland Facebook group recently?
And all honesty, I ain't even really been that tapped in. I've been kind of busy doing stuff, in the real world and stuff like that. But I check in every now and again. There have been some posts that have definitely blown up, and I didn't see them. You know what I mean? So I honestly though, it's better for my health and everybody else's health for me to stay out of the mix. You know
I got you. Okay, I
what I mean?
got you.
But yeah, I ain't really been keeping up too much. How about you? What's been going on? You the admin.
Man, for me personally, man, my whole family pretty much sick, man.
Damn.
Um, so I'm a little under the weather, man. Y'all gonna have to excuse me if I'm not as active as I usually am. As far as the group, man, I'm just grateful that we added a few new rules. We got a few more automated posts that go up to remind people of the rules, to welcome newcomers. Also got tapped by Black Salem. So there's a Black Salem group.
Hmm.
They reached out to me and they wanted to collaborate and kind of, build together. And I'm super excited about the prospects of working with them. We have 111 members in the Black Portland Facebook group that are from Salem, and I encourage them to join the Black Salem group. Is the official title is Black Salem, Oregon. And but to me, like Black Portland represent all of Oregon. You know what I mean? We got people
Yeah.
from the whole state here, Vancouver, and for so much so on. So I never really restricted it to just Portland, but I can understand where people might get that impression.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
How
mean,
about
shit,
you,
we got
Daryl?
people in. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, so for me, I just noticed that lately in the group, a lot of the anything that has to do with a relationship or singles or anything, they have absolutely lit up. I think a young lady actually has a mixer that's going up here that I'm not sure if it's not associated with Black Portland, but she actually has been promoting it in Black Portland, where she's going to have some sort of a singles event, and people were super excited about that. I think that people have been looking for that, and so she's actually delivering that. But I noticed that anything that has to do with relationships or people's experiences with relationship, they typically um, really take a hold. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I got a little bit of criticism in the inbox about that a few times. Like, oh, is this a dating page now? Nah, man, why it always got to be that? You know what I mean? Why can't it be just people's interested in learning and discussing relationships? No, it's not a dating page. But hey, you might find a date on the page. It's not a lot. This
Yeah.
is the biggest online presence in the city of Black people. Man, if you find love through the Black Portland Facebook group, man, that's just another testament to its effectiveness. I
Yeah.
will say that for the audience, anybody who want to leave a comment, question, or you have anything you want to comment upon or opine on in the group, we'll definitely let your comments be seen and heard. And oftentimes we address those. And then before we get started, I really wanted to go into some of the new rules, if y'all don't mind. So what I'm gonna do
Okay.
is I'm gonna share my screen. It's just a new rule actually, but it's pretty critical to the group. So let me pull it up real quick. Man, I done messed up already. Hold on. All right, let
So
me
what
get
you were
it.
saying about the page being like people saying it's a dating page. Personally, I was right there too. Like it's definitely the potential to find somebody on there that you want to hook up with, or not hook up with, but you want to be in a relationship with. I honestly think that's a bad thing. I feel like people who like are frustrated with that are only frustrated with it because those posts blow up and stand out. But we have no control over that. So it's like, like
Yeah,
it's not
and
like we are.
I love the banter. I just sometimes it get into bashing. You know what I mean? Black men
Yeah,
bashing, black women bashing. When it
yeah,
goes to that, we usually just turn off the comments or kick out the people that's bashing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So the newest rule is business promotions and buy, sell, and trade posts. To maintain a focused and engaging community, we ask that all business promoters at promotions, advertisements, and buy, sell, and trade posts are shared only on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Any posts outside of these designated days will not be approved and may be removed. So, the page is just getting super spammy. You know what I mean? I see
Yeah.
three or four of the same businesses posting 5, 6, 7, 20 times a day, and it's just turning into like a buy, sell, and trade page. I'm all for people promoting their business and whatnot on here, but we just want to let people know, like from now on Tuesdays and if it's not a Tuesday or Thursday, and you posting your business or you posting some kind of advertisement or you got items for sale, we just gonna decline them. We're gonna decline them with a rule reminder. On Tuesdays and Thursday, go ahead, do whatever you want. So I made a post that's in the featured post that remind people of that, and it talks about why we're doing it. We keep the group feed focused on conversations, connections, and community building. We want to ensure everyone has equal visibility on their posts without overwhelming the group with ads. And we want to create space for cultural discussions, local events, and helpful resources that make the group a community hub. Again, nobody support Black business more than Black Portland. Like we out here, we support all Black businesses, man. We giving you a platform to actually advertise and promote what you do to a curated audience of over 15,000 people. Also, reach out to us if you want to be on the featured post. For those of you that use the group, you have your discussion. That's where the posts are just put alphabetically or whatever you have set. You can have it set to most relevant, recent activity, or new posts. And we also have the features section where you can come to either the top of your phone or the top of your uh, laptop or whatever. And we have featured posts that are specifically highlighted for the group. A lot of it is events and other things like that. But if you want your post to be featured, feel free to reach out to me, reach out to us on Instagram, etc., and we can make sure that we include featured posts for whatever the case may be. I also really quick I wanted to do this. We haven't done this before, for to my knowledge, but I want to go over some of the group stats. So as you can see, we're growing. We reached 15,000 not too long ago. We're at 15,070 people. And what you guys got to know is we decline 3, 4 times as many people as we add, right? Because as moderators and as the admin, we're very careful about who we let in the group. So if y'all, if you guys see people, white people or people who you don't feel deserve to be in the group or whatever, just understand we are vetting these profiles. We're not just letting people in. So many people try to get into this group on a regular basis. I just kind of wanted people to see that yeah, we turning them down. It's not this thing where we just let just anybody in the group.
I tell
The
people
other
like
thing, go ahead, brother.
I was like, I always say I make the post like every so often, like, please, 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 whoever you invite to the group, if they get declined, don't let them be mad at the group. They either A, didn't answer them questions or something in their answers didn't align with the group. So it's like we're not out here just rejecting people just off of the strength. Like we don't want you in the group. Like we're trying to trying to help Adrian reach the number that he's trying to get to. But if you invite 30 people and 29 of them people don't answer the questions, 29 of them people will get declined. And that's just,
Well, if they
go
don't have a profile picture, if their name is, Fresh Kid 238, you know what I mean? We can't, we
Yeah.
don't know who that is. You know what I mean? We can't verify that. How do y'all feel? I had a good question. How do y'all feel about people who say, I'm not from Portland, but I'm moving there in 2 weeks? Or,
I've been wondering about that a lot because like I feel like either like I don't want if we do that, that group will become like a tourism page. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like you don't want it to evolve into that. So it's like I'm conflicted every time. But like I do go to their profile and then like try to see like are they like I don't say like I act like message them and ask them like are they really moving? But you can kind of see those things in people's posts and pictures and stuff like that when they're like preparing to make a big move like that. And sometimes I think it's legit and I will let that person through. But for the most part, I'd be conflicted. So
How about
Yeah,
I
you,
I
don't
Joe?
agree.
approve of.
I think because we have such a small, African American community, it's really important for people to be able to connect before they come here so they can feel more connected. I think that, just being prepared, looking for things like products and services and different businesses to connect to and different events that are going on, help somebody to acclimate a lot easier. So I try to lean on the side of allowing them in, but they at least have to have a completed profile. They have to have a picture. Like the standard is a little bit higher if they don't live here for me to actually allow them in because we're taking a chance. It's gonna be somebody who just wants to promote their business that is in another state or something, right? They have some sort
Yeah.
of a mail order, and we're already offering that, right? So if that's the case, then wait till you get here. Then you can offer it once you get here. But if you're somebody like potential like a Nike employee or an Intel employee or somebody who's actually moving here, and we can see that it's a thorough profile and you've answered the questions, then that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
kind
that's
of the
what.
same, man. There
But
was a time where I was planning on moving to Corvallis a couple of years ago. I got a promotion offer at my job to move out there, and there was literally a black group on Facebook in Corvallis that I connected with, and it made me feel better about potentially moving out there because I knew that I could instantly find some people that I could relate to that kind of already have this family going. Ultimately, I ain't moving to no Corvallis, so it just didn't work out. But it give me that same kind of feeling as I though. Sometimes I'm on the fence because it's like, are you really trying to come out here, or are you trying to capitalize off of what we built and then exploit Portland potential clientele? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
there's no hard and fast rule. I like the things that you guys have said that you do, kind of raising the bar. So I'm good with that.
I
Um,
go in. I go in and look for what Daryl was saying. Like, are you? Because sometimes people will put their employment at Intel or whatever before they've made the move because they are employed by Intel before they make that move.
mhm,
So I
mhm.
look for like little signs like that. Like, does it say Nike or Intel or whatever? You know, because sometimes you just no, you never know. You never know. So
That's real. That's real. So we have 1,500 posts in the past 28 days. That's down 8%. We're usually way much higher than that. I think the holidays have a lot to do with that. Active members, that means individual different people who have made a post, comment, or like or something like that in our group. Over the past 28 days, 10,000 members. That's like almost
Wow.
75% of the
Two-thirds. Yeah.
group has
Wow.
said, liked, commented on something in here, which means the group is really active and really engaged, which means when you do promote your business here, you are going to get a lot of engagement, depending, right? It depends on what your post is like, right? That all factors.
yeah,
Monday lately has been a big for us. I think that has to do with like some automated that go up on Monday.
you're
We
breaking
post
up a
it,
little bit, Adrian. You're
but
breaking up.
Tuesdays I'm breaking up.
Yeah, you're
Am
breaking
Just
I
up a little
back?
bit.
yeah.
Okay. So you can see the popular days, the popular times to post, and then it's just a variety of posts that get the top reach. So this is what's the name of the first school you went to in Portland. For the black people, how do you want to date? Obviously, the date post kick.
Hey, what's up with your Wi-Fi,
Comes
Adrian?
off
You
just.
got what's up with your connection, big dog?
Am I
Yeah,
messing
man.
up?
Yeah. You looking like somebody
Oh
grandpa.
man,
You looking like somebody grandpa
no,
right now.
I'm gonna keep it real, bro. I'm computer
I,
does this.
I oh
All
man,
right, well,
you might need to
okay, am I
reset,
froze
Adrian. You might
still?
need you. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know where you at. I don't know where you at.
So I don't know what shifted or what changed. But in the beginning, you were fine. Now
Yeah,
it's
in the
actually
beginning you're
starting to go
fine.
out. Yeah.
Like you might need to reset.
Or perhaps it's the screen share of the, I don't know. Something's messed up with the band. But you seem like you're fine right now, like you're sitting still. So
Is he sitting still though? He might not actually be sitting still though. That might be the thing.
you saying he frozen now? Let's
Oh my
go.
god. Adrian, you there?
Actually, he
He
hasn't blinked.
froze it.
So yeah, he might be frozen. You're right. It's all good. Let's see
Oh
here.
my god. Oh my god. This is hilarious. This is
Yeah,
hilarious. Yeah, there you go.
he'll come back in a minute
Yeah,
here.
he looking like somebody's grandpa. You know what I'm saying? At least they know at least they know what they working with. You know, the admin's an old man. Let him live. You know what I mean? And his
Yeah.
picture's still ashy. We done been over this. He still got the ashy picture. Like,
So it was actually fine though. Early when he first started, because he switched from
mm-hmm.
the camera that he was on. He said he switched to like
Mm.
iPhone better, so he was less ashy than he was the last time.
Oh man. Oh
We
man. But yeah,
still need to
how you been, Daryl?
But I've been good, man. Been
That's
enjoying the
good. That's
holidays, going
good.
around doing different things. You know, the typical check out the lights here, check out the lights there.
Yeah, I
So
wanted to do that. I didn't know where to go out here.
mhm.
What's the
so the
neighborhood
grotto,
that you go ahead?
so the grotto's a good pick, and then they had like this 5-stop tour that you would go on. There's like 5 or 7 stops that you can go on throughout like the west side of Portland. And
Mm.
it wasn't like Peacock Lane. This was like people's individual homes. There's one guy whose home was way better than anything I've seen in any of these places. So it was really cool. I'm getting an echo now because somebody
It's
there.
because Adrian's coming back, but he hasn't muted the Black Portland Live yet.
Okay.
He's working his way back in. I think anyway.
Yeah, but the grotto's a good one. And then for a simple one, it's actually out at the Portland International Raceway. They always have that
Okay.
one. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You can even go like so. For me, I would make reservations at a place in that's right on the water.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Not to cut you off. To Bobby,
yeah.
you totally can. Go ahead and slide it through. You can
Mhm.
either send it to one of the mods or the admin, and then either way it'll get circulated and we'll figure something out. So yeah, you can totally do that.
Cool.
But yeah, go ahead.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
you were saying
So
about
what have you been up to,
same thing, just in trying to enjoy the holidays. This season is always a little
Yo, can
tough for
y'all hear
me
me now or
because
no?
we can hear
man?
you. We can definitely hear you. Where you at though?
Can y'all hear me now or no?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
can,
we can.
yeah, it started to get a little shaky, but we can hear you.
Oh, oh, might be frozen up. I
So
really want to know what he's working with.
one thing is I noticed that when we yeah, they say you may need to turn off the camera because one thing I noticed when I first came in here says that you might want to plug in directly to your router or whatever.
Mm,
You know, I'm not doing all that.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
sitting right up in my computer like we're in the old days. Like Wi-Fi works just fine. Maybe he just needs to get closer to the router. I'll find a place that's
Yeah.
closer to the router and or
I'm
get a repeater. It's too late for that.
I'm on the phone, so the phone keeps
You're
it
on the phone,
simple.
right? He was on his
Yeah.
iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine I don't know why he doesn't just stream whatever from his what is my hold on. Stream whatever from his my charger broken? No. I think I might have broke my phone charger.
So I
No.
think I'm gonna take a look here because yeah, it's gonna take a minute before he comes back in. Let me take a look at our agenda real quick so we can kind of move along. I'm not sure if I have the control of being able to let anyone in. Let's see. I can present, but I can't let the guest in at this point. Let's see.
Did it give you the moderator status since he's not in here anymore?
No, it hasn't given me that. No,
Okay.
it shows that I can present and but I can just stop my cam. I really don't see any other controls that I would actually have to be able to allow the other stuff in. But while we're waiting on them, you know what I want to do? Just so that we can keep it kind of rolling along. I think it would be a good idea to kind of recap some of the crazy stuff that happened in 2024. Right?
Bruh,
oh, there
can
you
y'all
go.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Hey, I don't even know, man, but we just gonna keep it pushing.
Okay.
Are we still live in the group?
We still live everywhere. Yeah,
okay.
So yeah.
Somebody said as the regional director for Verizon, they can get you some 5G.
Please, Miss
Bro, I'm
Alberta,
on the 5.
please.
That's what's so. Never mind, man. We ain't even gonna go there. Anyway,
Please hook our boy up. Hook our boy up with the fiber
whatever,
optic.
Alberta. I get it. I didn't see the comment, fam.
Yeah. See, look, you ain't need to see the comment, man. Get our boy some fiber optics. You know what I'm saying? Get it.
Anyway, so I got on my phone and switched it to the 5G on my phone and got off my Wi-Fi. I'm gonna only use my Wi-Fi to bring these folks up to the stage. That's it. So,
do you understand how crazy it is that your phone is better than your Wi-Fi? Why is this?
I don't know, man. I pay Xfinity a lot of money for this Wi-Fi, so I'm really disappointed in the service I'm getting now. Problem is, when you call them, they all act stupid anyway. So ain't gonna be no way for me to get no true justice. So technical difficulties aside, look, Alberta, like, call me.
Yeah, we gotta hook him up.
I got you, Alberta. We gonna hit you up. We need that Verizon Wi-Fi. All right. Without further ado, let's get to let's introduce our guests and get started with the conversation about 2024 recap. So first off, we're gonna start with Miss Nina Joy. Miss Nina, do you wanna come on from a mute? So Miss Nina Joy is a culture competency counselor, consultant, a youth mentor, educator, and advocate. Can you say hello to the people?
I think you're still on mute.
Not
there.
We're here.
I don't even know.
I don't know why this keeps going on mute. I'm not putting myself on mute. I think the technical difficulties is, they always trying to stop us, but you know how that go. But yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about what you do.
I am in the area. I work with youth mostly is what I moved here to do for the state. But what I've always done is been what I summed it up now as a cultural competency counselor, as I like to say it, since I moved to the Pacific Northwest, because it seems like you guys need that a lot in this area. So it's a person who teaches people how to communicate about culture, diversity, how to be comfortable in each other's spaces without trying to force each other to fit into boxes that others believe you should go into, and how us as a people need to correct others on how to treat us and stop jumping into these boxes and taking the shape that the world wants us to take, but actually, step up, speak up, and force others to respect you, see you, and so you could be you, I guess.
That's dope.
And that's what I do.
All right, we're gonna bring the next.
Thank you. And I just, let my spirit lead my words, and let the ancestors guide me, because it's work that needs to continue, and the youth need to know that. So I try to bridge the gap between the elders and the youth. So I've done like many things in my career. I was a teacher for many years in North Carolina. It's where I started my organization, Niners Flowers, which was bridging the gap between the community and within the community, between the elders and the youth. between people from the Caribbean and Black Americans to understand that we have to stop warring against each other, between our native cousins, Latin people, all of that. We've been doing this throughout history. So we need to take hold of our history and our truth. I also call myself a truth warrior, right? We need to take hold of these things. We need to teach our youth so they go into this world prepared to be in this world and not of this world. So
That's
that
what's up.
we shouldn't get an attitude when they take those books out of the schools because they don't teach us our full truth anyway. Like we should be going in already knowing who we are. We shouldn't be dependent on our oppressor to educate and save us. It like makes no sense what we want out of this world. So it's time for us to like take back our everything and reclaim our stolen legacy and guide our youth and our people.
That's what's
And that's
up.
what I do. That's what I try to do.
All right. We're gonna bring the next guest up. It is Kiyoshi Owens. She's an
Hey,
MBA and CEO of Empress Rules Equity. How you doing, Kiyoshi? Sorry for the technical difficulties.
No,
Uh, you've been a
wonderful.
guest a couple of times on here, but please let the people know what you do.
Well, we're actually in the process of rebranding as Empress Rules Facilitation House. And we do all things facilitation. So we do strategic planning, implementation, assessments, executive coaching. I also, part of like my love is watching other Black businesses grow. So I do free small business support for anyone who wants to start a business. I don't charge for it. Just show up. You don't show up, I'm never going to talk to you again. So I'll just let you know that because I'm not charging for it. So that's what it is. But I love helping businesses grow and watching people grow. And what Empress Rules does is we just help people be better humans. What I've learned is that every human being has been traumatized. When we look at history, there hasn't been a culture that hasn't been traumatized, from your samurai who was going through Mongolia to our African brothers and sisters, to us here as Black Americans, to your white folk. They had the medieval, not like supreme evil, but just medieval
Mhm.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like what they were doing to each other. And so we trauma blow through each other, And
yeah,
so what I want to do is I want to dedicate my law of attraction book, asking, what do I want to do? What do I want to leave? I want to be a healer. And that's what I'm here for, is to help people heal, to continue to heal myself. And I kind of do it under the guise of facilitation, but that's what I do. Also from Portland, born and raised in Portland, currently living in Gresham. And my grandparents came
this
here
this
in the 30s.
is it not the same place?
No, it's
Like
not.
Nah.
when
No.
you pass into Gresham, you're driving down a Portland street though. Like it doesn't, there is no separation. It's not like, oh, you're entering Gresham. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
So
Does
yeah,
Siri say welcome to Gresham?
there is no, that's what I'm saying. There's no welcome to Gresham sign. So it's just like you just roll into Gresham.
if
My
you
bad to cut you off.
Portland, you know that there's a difference,
Gresham.
because when we were growing up in Portland before gentrification, it was the numbers and we didn't go out there.
How
So that
come?
was far. That was just far because a lot of us didn't have cars. And so I didn't even go out to Beaverton until I was like 19 years old, because it was just far if you don't have a car. And
I
so
ain't going
that's
to
how we
Beaverton because they
knew.
pulled your ass over every
Yeah.
time you
Yeah.
drove out there.
Yep. Yep. So there's most definitely a difference in what we went through as Portland people living here, and what we had to go through the cool stuff that was happening from the parties and the people like, why don't y'all do stuff? Well, we did a lot of stuff actually, like, and it's written and documented about, but a lot of it got shut down, and that was traumatizing, and so we've been through a lot of stuff and we still here. So when you see Portland people, I just want to say, y'all, show us some love, man, because we do love y'all. We just got to get to know y'all. We've been through a lot of stuff and we still here and we still trying to do it and make it happen for Black people. So let's just connect and keep building.
Let's go. Next up, we have Raina Akua. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Oh,
Yes, you did. Yes,
Awesome.
you did. You
And
did.
so you are
How
a
you
death
doing?
doula and an adventure planner. I gotta
Yes,
know. I
I
don't
am.
know what a death doula is, so excuse my ignorance. Tell me what that
Oh
is.
no, there's nothing ignorant about it. Being a death doula is a calling. There's no, it's not a job. It is definitely a calling. being a death doula, what I do is I'm basically a midwife for people who are transitioning. The same way a woman has a birth plan for the way that she wants to bring her child into the world, I empower people and remind them that they have the right to have a plan for the way that they want to leave this world. Now we know that, things happen on, our our on the time of our higher power, but there are ways and there are things that we can do to empower ourselves and help our families to process our transition while it's impending and even after our transition has occurred. So I help families
Yeah.
communicate with medical staff, and after the transition has occurred, sometimes I help with celebration of life planning before the transition has occurred. I sit with the client and their family, and it gives them a chance to talk about what it is they want for their celebration of life, and that's empowering for them. I make phone calls for the family, and that kind of eases their load after the transition has occurred. I arrange honor walks when clients are in the hospital, or sometimes the hospital will call on me if they need an honor walk or if they need a death doula to help them perform an honor walk.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the I think final thing that I do is help client families do things like turn over their space. So if they had taken like a den and turned it into a hospital room so that they're level in hospice at home, then I help them turn that hospital room back into a living space. So they'll be gone for a day or something like that. And when they come back, then the hospital bed is gone. All of the protective underwear and all of the, clothing that had to be altered and cut in half and things like that, and all of the medical equipment and all that stuff would be gone. And when they came back, their furniture and all of that stuff would be back in
Mm.
place the way it was when, before they had to convert that space to bring their loved one home so that they could hospice there instead of in a facility if that was
And
what they chose to do.
and now adventure planner. You plan adventures for people? What is that?
Yes, I do. That's it's the best thing. I plan it as it's that's literally what I do. I plan adventures for people. If they want to take hikes, if they want to go camping, if they want to go floating, if they want to do a little bit of both or a little bit of all three, then I help them plan those things from with everything from meal planning and what kind of gear to buy and where to go and get the gear, even if they don't have the money to go and buy it.
Mm.
Transportation, if they don't have a car, how to access those places, everything, anything that you would want.
That's
Excuse me,
dope.
as my grandmother say, if you put that shit out there, you might be able to talk to somebody.
For sure. That's dope. I,
um, so anything
is
that they
that
can think of,
I'm
then
sorry, is
that's
that
what I do.
mainland or abroad or both?
It's mainland mostly.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Can
I haven't been blessed to do anything abroad just yet.
before we move on, I want to ask you about the death doula. Like,
Mhm.
how do you deal with like all the like I guess like trauma by proximity that you go through of helping people with this experience of death? Like, it is
Mm.
I'm kind of fascinated about that. Like, that was would
I
you say
spend
that you
a
did
lot
that?
of time outside myself. I spend a
Mm.
lot of time outside. I spend a lot of time outside. I do cold plunges. I go out to the gorge in like November when it's like 30 something degrees and stuff outside, and I'll stand under Littoral Falls and with my swimwear and just let like the water just kind of rush over me. I do a lot of energy work with the moon and things like that. I do a lot of meditating and I just really try to it's a fine dance because I can't let a lot of the energy that I have carry from one client and then carry it over to a next, especially
Mm.
if I know that I have a long day or if I know that I'm going from an adult to a child, you know what I'm saying? Then I have to make sure that my energy is right. And sometimes I don't have a whole lot of time to do that, but I still have to, it's like a get it together, because
Yeah,
this is what you got to,
that's gotta
you have
be
to call it.
ridiculously heavy.
That's deep. Yeah,
It
that's deep.
is. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
It is.
But
But
somebody
it's a
got to do it
blessing
though,
and a
right? You know what I
necessity.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
they
that's why I
do.
agree with
They
what you
do.
said, that it's a calling
They
as
do.
opposed to
Yeah.
a
And
chosen
not only
profession.
that,
Like,
when we honestly think about it, we've always done this. You know what
mm,
I'm saying? We've always taken care of our own people. You know what I mean? When have we not held space for a loved one that has been transitioning?
that's real.
Especially us as women. You know what I mean? When have we not taken care of a grandparent or an aunt or even a cousin or a sibling that was in the process or, had a transition that impending, and we took care of that loved one when they were in the process of transition, or somebody that's walking now, I'm sure that they have. And that's, kind of along the line of what death doula work is.
That's true. That's what's
Mm.
up.
I just want to
Yeah.
say thank you, Raina, so much. You offered that for my mom. But I think what I would like to see and what I'm working on in my own family is just normalizing death because it's going to happen. It's guaranteed. And so I'm not going to, try and act like it's not going to. But I think when you offered, it was overwhelming because it was like I would have to accept that this was really going to happen.
Mm,
And these doctors had been telling my mom was going to die for years. They've been saying she's going to die since 8th grade. So, if I would have been like, yeah, but it still happened. It did, and you weren't there. And so I wonder what it would have been like if you would have been there. So first, I just want to say thank you so much because that
You're
takes so
welcome.
much. Thank you so much for offering. And thank you for
That's,
doing it because that would have been, I'm grateful. Thank you.
And then
you're
also,
welcome.
what I want to say is, if you guys want to put your websites and your information in the private chat, I can get them up on the screen before we move. Before we leave the convo, just so people can know where to find you and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's great to have you all. I love it. And we just gonna get into it, man. 2024 was a crazy year. The
yeah.
first topic I have for discussion is the election, but I don't want to spend too much time on that because I think we already had one of those sessions. But the question that came to my mind, and you guys don't have to stick to this question, but the question about the election that came to my mind, was it a referendum on politics or was it a show of the disdain for Black women? Maybe a little bit of both. What are you guys' thoughts? Anybody who want to just say something about it?
I feel like the ladies should obviously speak first, but
Mm,
Mhm.
In my opinion, I think it was a show for the disdain of Black women because either that or there was something in the water because there were people that I thought, you know what I mean, were of clear, sound mind and body that, you know what I mean, that voted for the person that obviously ended up being elected.
yeah,
They never had any valid reasoning why. That was just why. You know what
yeah.
I mean? And so it was, yeah, that's the only that yeah, that's all I have on that.
I kind of, I mean, not kind of, I entirely agree with you on the fact that like a lot of people who voted for Trump didn't really have a reason to vote for Trump. It was just clearly that they didn't want to vote for Kamala. Kamala? Yeah, Kamala. I always want to make sure I
Mhm.
get her name right.
mm,
Yeah.
But yeah, people just definitely clearly like, I don't really want to do that, but like, why do you want to do the other options? It's not that option, right? And so
And it
I
Right.
defied
also,
logic.
Yeah.
It defied
but
logic in the fact that she dominated him in the debate that they had, to the point that he was afraid to debate her again.
yeah,
Certainly much more qualified than he was, right?
yeah,
And so, and people were wildly disrespectful in a way that I'd never seen before for a candidate on social media. They were putting pictures, they were spreading falsehoods, all kinds of weird things that were happening that should have really diminished their brand, but instead it just fed into it more. And I just felt like really it was just one of the most disrespectful, campaigns that have ever been run that I've ever seen. in my life before, and that's by individuals as well as the parties. And just like they were like really in fear, and anything they could throw at it is what they did. And so, even though it should have diminished the way that they look, instead it just kind of propelled them forward, and that's sad.
Well, I will say the term for what you're discussing is called misogynoir, which is the hate
Yeah.
of Black women. So that's rooted in patriarchy. I'm going to add on to it, right, with the intersectional lens. And I'm going to say, one, the algorithm. Algorithm had us thinking that stuff was all good because we were seeing people in our algorithm saying, oh, yeah, ain't no way, right? That surprised us. As a business owner, I can see why people voted for Trump, because I think they're going to have lower taxes.
But that's not true, though.
Hold on. But hold on. It actually is true if when you make a certain amount of money. When you make a certain amount of money, yes, you do. Over $200,000, you start getting benefits if you work with him, compared to, I don't even want to go into it because I'm a good person. I'm going to still pay the taxes because I understand why, but it hurts. It really does hurt, especially small business. We had inflation. People don't understand supply and demand and economics. All they know is the food is high. You're in office. You're responsible for this. They don't understand economics. They don't understand that they're feeling the impact from the previous presidency and how long it takes. It takes about 4 years to clean up. And then you got 4 years to actually implement and do something. And then just
he went twice.
Yeah, ignorance. And then ignorance coupled with the fact that Kamala only had like a year. Most of the time,
6 months. She had 6 months.
Yeah, they started about 2 years, into the last presidency, the campaign. She had 6 months. I do want to say something I did see was beautiful was people coming out for her. It was great to see the small groups pop up. The Black women started the group first, and then you had the white dudes for Kamala.
White dudes for
that was a really beautiful thing to see. So the entire, it's not an either or type thing. It's just a ignorance type thing. On like,
what you think, Miss Nina? You froze up, Miss Nina. I think she having my same issue.
But
there you go, Miss Nina. Can you hear us?
Sleep?
I think we both gonna have to talk.
Oh no! Oh, we don't hear the audio.
I think you're on mute. Yeah, I think you're on mute.
There, I unmuted you. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just listening to. Okay, no, thank you. I was just listening and taking everything all in. As you guys hear, I'm not from here. I'm from the East Coast, and I moved to Washington 5 years ago. But I moved to Yakima, and then I moved to Vancouver a year ago. So I've been just seeking community. I'm a little different in the way I operate and I move. I don't have faith in the system anymore. I did all that in my younger years, what you guys are doing now. And I'm kind of on a different path because at the end of the day, the amount of money that we put into this game that they play with our lives, when at the end of the day, no matter what color you choose to be, what party, I don't believe in a two-party system anymore. I believe, in Malcolm, the bullet or the ballot, So I went the other direction a while ago. I respect everybody else's choices, but in regards to that question that you're asking, because politics and all that used to be my thing, like in college, and until I learn, you grow from what you know. That's one of my signs on my wall behind me, right? So as I study, because a lot of the things that we're trying to fix have already been laid out for us. If we go back to the original Black Panther Party, what they laid out, all of that stuff is relevant. Like we waste a lot of time and energy talking about things that have been in the works for years. This is the fall of Babylon that we're at. And the only thing that Trump and all of this nonsense that's creating this race war is doing is baiting us more against each other while they continue to do what they've always done. So, it's time for the people to come together and say enough. Because they're going to do whatever they want to do. Like, I'm not even going to talk about politics until we get rid of the electoral college. Like, there's so much that I will go into in this conversation. So I'm just sitting back and listening to others, because if I start, I'm not going to start, right? You know what I'm saying, y'all? Yeah. So
Yeah.
That's what we're going into in 2025. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but as far as this, what I love about what's going on now historically, because I'm a historic, I study psychology because we've been warped, you know, so I'm trying to, you know, change the path and the way we think and what we put our energy into. But as far as what I love now, it's taking the sheet off the hoods off. It's revealing America for what she truly
Yeah, it
is.
is.
For what they always say that we was for, you know, they over exaggerate and so I'm just sitting back and letting it play out, eating my popcorn, drinking my wine. I ain't gonna be stressed and aggravated over this.
One thing I will say is that I came to the realization that we don't have more in common than not. I just don't believe that anymore. I think that a lot of these people do want to get all the Mexicans up out of here. For real. It's not an ideological difference. They don't want them here. You know what I mean? I think that they don't like Kamala because
but yet they hire them and run their businesses. Like, are you sitting your those same ones that are complaining about getting the Mexicans out of here? Ask them who their nanny is.
Yeah. No, I think they vote against their own interests.
You know what I'm saying? Like it kills me.
Yeah, it was their kinfolk that actually a lot of their kinfolk.
Like who
voted for Trump.
Have you seen the casinos in the hotels? Who's cleaning those rooms? Who's cooking at the restaurants? So when they send all them people home that he's talking about, who's gonna run his businesses?
I honestly don't think they care.
I'm just sitting back and watching this play out because it's gonna be hilarious.
I hope that I honestly hope that they do follow through with everything that they say they're gonna do.
Yeah, I've been saying the same thing.
To remove all the illegal immigrants. I want them to do it with soldiers. I want them to do it on TV. I want them to do all of that because one day we're gonna have to once and for all decide.
And I hear what my sister was saying about the business aspect and the taxes and all of that.
What?
What were you saying?
Good question.
So
you were actually speaking, and then all of a sudden it just kind of went out for a second. Yeah. Sorry.
I think Ms. Nina kind of closed out on us.
So she's still right there. She's still right there.
Go ahead. What was you saying? Good question about Zai.
Oh no, I was what I was gonna say is I think to the specific question that's on the screen, I think it's both. I think it's a referendum on politics in the sense that it exasperated how much people I don't know, the optics of how much people don't know is just so much more visible. You know what I mean? And now we can see that people really don't understand politics. Like that is the showing that it had on politics to me, and then also to what Kyoshi was right. How I say it. Yeah, to what Kyoshi was saying about the misogynoir, that is exactly what it was. Like, there's no way, or it's both of those things. Like, people didn't want to see a black woman win above all. Like, I feel like if it was a black man, he would have won. I feel like if it was a black man at all, it would have been entirely different. We would have had a whole other Barack Obama champion story. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been an entirely different outcome. But because it was a black woman, people were like, nah, I'm not really going for that. You know what I mean? And I feel like, especially when it comes to like the reasoning why people said that they voted for Trump, like, oh yeah, taxes, the money's going to be better. It's like, do you know anything about these things? But no, they don't. Like, people just genuinely don't know about these things. And it's like, I can't really be mad at the loss because like people are stupid. You know what I mean? But it sucks that she lost. So it's like, I can't be mad that America is dumb when we know America is dumb. It's kind of how I feel about it. Like,
but another thing is that people are associating certain things that happened, like during the COVID crisis when people got the stimulus checks, they're associating that with Trump. Trump didn't actually do that.
He didn't
do that.
Right? But they associate that with him when in fact he didn't do that.
Right. Just because he was in office when it happened, he did not do that. He didn't listen, I've been trying to tell you, he didn't give y'all a dime.
Yeah.
He didn't give y'all a dime. Okay. He did not. He didn't. The government gave y'all some money because the economy needed to be stimulated. They knew if they gave y'all some money, you was gonna fuck it off, and that's exactly what you did. You stimulated the economy by fucking off that money. Okay, point blank. That's exactly what happened, and that's exactly what you guys did. And so, you know what? They said, "Oh wow, that worked very, very well." You know what? Let's give their ass some more money so they can fuck
Mhm.
that off too, and they'll stimulate the economy. And that's exactly what you did. And a few of you, you went to Amazon and you bought up a bunch of inventory for a bunch of supplies and stuff like that. You said that you was going to start businesses, and a lot of you ended up with a whole lot of inventory in the corner of your house. And some of you was actually able to start businesses and really able to
Mhm.
stimulate the economy and get other people to stimulate the economy by buying your stuff. But the rest of you, you stimulated the economy with the stimulus checks. Either way, that money did not come from Donald Trump.
Right,
No.
right. We
And
go.
it caused
Let's get one more comment, and then we're gonna go. Let's go, Kiyoshi.
I'll just say, and it caused inflation. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, like, no, people just, the number one question that was Googled after the election was, what is a tariff? You know,
What is the
and
terror?
yeah, it's a high number. Over 50% of America reads at a third grade level. I don't want
Don't run now.
like these systems are intentionally built. That's why they went after the education system, because they don't want people to know how the system works, because then they'll just keep doing what they just did. So just know that's why they're going after the Department of Education. They're trying to ban books. They want people to be as ignorant as they possibly can be.
Yup.
Mignana and Shantae, maybe it's Shantae.
But we knew
B.
this was
Mignana
coming. If we knew
in
our
the
history, yes.
Mignana in the comments says, "I agree. In order for us to come together culturally, the truth needs to be revealed, and we require healing and wise education in order to grow together. Ultimately, unity is needed, future planning, and getting our focus back on track." I think that's kind of what you were saying, Miss Nina. It's like we can, the one thing I can't stand about this back and forth stuff with the election is we all got to pretend like we don't know what's real when we having these bad faith conversations with these people that really don't care one way or another. You know what I mean? And I think that the idea that I'm a political junkie is something wrong with me. I get stuck on it. You know what I mean? And I do feel like there are things that we can do as Black people to help move the political system. But I mean, damn, what I don't know what that is, because we've been trying for a long time and it ain't working.
I feel like we need to really kind of inspire
It's
younger people
because
to
you
get
got to
involved.
realize
Because
that
every
the
time
system
we turn
is
around,
not
you see
broken.
these
You know
really
how
old
we say the
people.
system is broken?
I think there's
Sorry.
probably some lag.
Okay.
But let's go ahead. We're gonna go Daryl, we're gonna go Miss Nina, and then we're gonna go to the next subject. Go.
So first off, I feel like we need to get some younger generation involved in politics, really actively involved, and move them into the position, because every time I turn around, I see a 60, 70-year-old person that's running for office again. And I'm just tired, because they're not going to be there for very long, and they're still operating in the old way.
Go ahead, Miss Nina. You gonna have
We
the
got
last
these
word.
half-dead, decrepit looking people. Yo, did y'all see O'Connell? Like, listen, just because I don't play it, I still be watching. I told you I'd be watching. I was like, is that a real person or is that a muppet? Like, you're like, what the hell is going on here? Like, he was like stuck. That's who's Come on.
Mitch McConnell froze up on camera.
I'd rather take elementary and middle school children and put them in office, because they would divide more evenly. Like, give it to the children. Like, I have more faith in the American children running this country than these old biddies up in here doing us dirty for years.
When Mitch McConnell froze,
let's start there.
I
How
thought he
about
had
that?
my
And put some age limits. I don't give a damn if you say age discrimination. As we can see,
right. When Mitch McConnell froze, I thought he had my Wi-Fi.
I'm just gonna say that and leave it at that.
All right, so staying on politics for a little while longer. Let's come Let's come a little more local. I do want to give flowers to Janelle Bynum and Shannon Jones Isidore. I'm glad that they won.
I like that.
I'm not quite sure what they can do in their roles to help. I think Black people are always seeking for someone to do something specifically for us. So I'm kind of wondering, what do you guys think about that, and what kind of effect do you think these women being in office can have?
So for the one for the Shannon Jones Isidore, I think she's in the 33rd district, which covers like partner of Multnomah County up into Washington County. She actually comes with a history of actually changing the community, and she actually owns. She's the owner of it's sort of a therapy organization. She actually, I don't know if you guys know, but you know that downtown 6th Avenue hotel they used to have there. She's like a 37-bed facility there for people who are transitioning from inpatient care to outpatient care. And so, you know, this is somebody who has a history of addressing some of the mental health crisis that's really contributed, I think, greatly to the homelessness situation that we have in Portland. So I feel like, you know, having somebody like that is prepared and has history and experience in that is a really big benefit, as opposed to just somebody who, you know, may have just been, you know, a business owner or something like that. Not that there's anything wrong with being a business owner, but somebody who has direct experience with those things that actually affect those areas, I think is going to be a real benefit to the 33rd district.
Because she is a business owner, that's what she does.
She is a business owner, but it's like, you know, more. But like I said, it's more aligned with the, you know, in the mental health field, and also, like I said, you know, with the facility that she actually converted. It once again is aligned with cleaning up downtown Portland. But she is, yes, absolutely a business owner.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with business owners. Don't get me wrong.
I think it means nothing if we don't get behind them. It's very lonely. I'm one of the business owners who I work with the Portland Bureau of Transportation. I work with Metro Oregon, the only one there. You know, it's different when you know you have a community. So I think that I've been following Janelle Bynum for years. Like, she comes to the League of Minority Voters. Promise King is my mentor. So I've been supporting her for years. And like, they need our support. So whenever they have an initiative, you know, if we can stay engaged when they're doing something, write some letters. Actually, I would love to see Black Portland like reach out to some of these candidates and be like, hey, how can we support you? What do you need? What are your initiatives? You know, so that's what, you know, I'm really excited for what they can do. But like I said, a lot of times we're by ourselves dealing with the Kamala stuff that we just talked about. So what we gonna do, Black Portland?
Yeah.
Because Janelle Bynum has a really tough situation that she's in. They really wanted that seat that she got from Lori Chavez de Reamer. So she did have a lot of support from the National Democratic organization, and a lot of money went into that campaign because they were trying to flip the balance. Unfortunately, it wasn't able to. We're at 215 to 220, but it is tighter. And so I think that really is important for us to do things like you had mentioned, and that is to reach out and see how we might be able to help, because they were looking, you know, to flip that over to the left a little bit more leaning, but unfortunately, they, you know, came up short. She did win, but they did come up short, and it's very close, 215 to 220 at this time. Yeah,
and I think for Black Portland, as whatever it is, an entity, a Facebook group, a moniker that we're proud of, it's difficult because I don't want to try to make our brand synonymous with politics, but I think allowing a platform for people like Janelle Bynum and others. We had Travis Nelson on here. We've had Bob Simmerl on here. We've had a few people. I think that if you're Black and you're running for office, at minimum, we can put you in front of 15,000 Black people, and you could talk about, you know, speak for yourself about what you stand for, so that we can be educated on your positions, and then make our own decisions about whether or not we feel like you represent us in the way we want as voters. Real quick, I just want to say, Umoja, that's our brother. Good to see you watching, sir. We appreciate everything you do in the community. He says, how can we encourage locals to support local politics movements as much as they gave energy to the Kamala campaign? That's a good question. I think that when it comes to national politics, oh man, Black folks are here. We are talking, we on social media, we doing podcasts, we doing it all. As soon as those national elections end, or those we don't do anything. And then on the local level, there's very little participation from the Black community, as far as I know.
So one thing I'd like to really encourage people to do is the midterms. They are super important. That's where a lot of stuff happens. That's where the Republican Party really sneaks a lot of things in, and they make a lot of gains. And I feel like if we were really to help them to push the importance of the midterm elections, we could really change things. That's really where we lose a lot of our voice. And so if we could really, encourage folks to get involved in the midterms, and just so that you know, one of the candidates, they actually were able to have a 6-day campaign running because they got so much community involvement. Actually, Janelle Bynum's campaign specifically, we're able to have our offices open for 6 days. So like I said, if in the midterm people have that same kind of passion and that same kind of involvement and excitement for it, we can see things change during that time.
That's dope. I'm gonna get off the politics, man. We got to get into something a little more fun before we bore people to death. You know what I'm saying? I do love the participation from the audience. If you're out there watching and you want to make a comment, you got a question you want to ask, please feel free to comment. But I want to talk about something that's a little more lighthearted, or is it?
Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
before we
trials
go
of two black men in the entertainment business. We talk about Diddy. We talk about Young Thug. The question that I have, and y'all can tell me, this is not a statement from me. This is a question I'm asking. Is the justice system treating these two men unfairly because they are black men?
Young Thug, yes, but Diddy, no.
I would like to jump in and say it's the approach that I feel is the problem. The RICO, because when you're found guilty of a RICO trial, they have the ability to take the assets that contributed it to the illegal whatever activity, right? Or you just try them in the normal way, right? As opposed to the RICO where you're taking someone's fortune, because you're affecting their families and their and their.
Are you talking about Young Thug, or are you talking about both?
I'm talking about Young Thug. Both of these are RICO trials.
I mean, Diddy needs a RICO. It's not a RICO. It's a FRICO.
I don't know if
you gotta call it what it is, Daryl. It's a FRICO. It's a FRICO, not a RICO. It's a FRICO.
See, you're wild now. I know you. I was like, he wants to get something in. Okay. Young Thug, like I said, I kind of understand because they were trying to say that they were an organization. Quite frankly, he shouldn't have took the deal. I was watching the trial. He never would have been convicted. What's that?
I feel like that did. Go ahead.
I was saying he shouldn't have taken the deal. To be completely honest with you, I was watching the trial, and he never would have been convicted. The two guys that took it to the end, they wound up being acquitted, and he would have been acquitted as well. Nothing really pointed directly to him, right? There was something in his lyrics. I know that over the course of it, somebody's life was taken, and I do take that seriously. Don't get me wrong. But the fact that they had it as a RICO, the way that they approached it was very, and just is very sloppily executed. I felt like it was really aimed at getting in their pockets, and we have enough people getting in our pockets as it is. Just try them for what they did. You know what I'm saying? With Diddy, like I said, I really don't. I can't really speak to that. Like, I don't know if him having money. All these people that have money, it allows them to do these things, these types of things, right? But I don't know. I have to as I'm talking, I feel like I'm leaning toward, his fortune did contribute to the fact that he was, running these kinds of parties.
I mean, my thing about it is
watch him as baby oil, though.
Yeah, there are things at the Diddy case like that I feel like it like incriminate him just because they're funny, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like they wouldn't exist in any normal life. You know what I mean? Like, who gets 1,000 bottles of baby oil? Like, you have to be doing something illegal, bro. Like, you can't tell me that that's normal. You know what I mean? Like, that's insane.
It might be normal for that tier of income.
You have a point. I don't. 1,000 is insane, though. I don't like. There's not enough babies. You can't have enough babies in a lifetime to need 1,000 bottles of baby.
You just had a baby.
Who did he did?
Yeah, he did. Baby Love. Baby Love was born. I seen her on the twins page.
That is crazy. I mean,
but it does beg the question though. How is it different from any of the parties that Hugh Hefner had at the playground?
ID. That's the difference. Hugh Hefner
I was gonna say
had cameras and he had ID. He
had ID. Okay.
I watched it. I ain't trying to be funny, but I did watch. I'm into documentaries, so I watched the documentary. He didn't play. You had to be 18 and over to be there.
And he was very. If I remember,
or your daddy lived there. You know what I'm saying? Like he was
I
very,
also remember, if I remember right, he was very prudent about drugs. Like only certain drugs would be allowed in the parties. You know what I
Only
mean? Like he
certain
couldn't.
drugs.
Yeah, like he was. It's a Playboy party. You know what I
Only
mean? But
coke.
he.
We only doing coke here. We ain't messing with none of that
But I
heroin.
mean, like that does matter when they look at the optics of it,
Yeah,
because
they
it's
wasn't
like,
spiking the punch at the Playboy man.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you knew what you was drinking. It was clearly labeled.
exactly.
What
So
you
that is
think,
a
Miss
It
big
Raina?
wasn't kids being abused and used.
yes.
Raina,
My
what you
that's,
think about
It's a
the Diddy
big.
trial? What you think about Diddy, Raina?
Did he ask me to go to jail?
How long, Raina? How long?
He need to stay in jail for the amount that he been there, and he need to stay in jail until he can pass Kim Porter on the way to heaven, uh, while he on his way to hell,
Okay.
for
Okay.
all the pain that he has caused to all these people, because there's no way that
Don't
all
forget
these
Heavy
people
D,
just
because we
come
don't talk
about
about him too.
the woodwork. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
About, and it's not just about money. I mean, these people are coming out and saying that they've really been harmed. And
yeah.
Mhm.
so there has to be a time where we have to excuse and say, or stop saying, oh, they're just after the black man for his money. Man, fuck
Tupac
money.
tried to
Nigga,
tell
you're
us.
fucked up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're
I think,
harmful, and you're harming people that look just like you,
yeah,
that
that's what
look
I was
just
about to
like
say.
us.
I think,
You
not to
know what
cut
I'm
you off.
saying?
Go ahead.
You're harming
And our
women, and you have
children.
daughters.
Our children.
Right.
He's
That's what I
Exactly.
harming our
was.
children.
That's what I was gonna say too. I think the optics of it is very different because we know that the people that he had access to were
Not
like
just
us.
women. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And he used his assets to cause harm. So yes, those need to be taken away too. And I'm sorry that his
Okay.
children are going to lose,
Uh,
whatever livelihood that they had. You're old enough, the majority of you, go and get a job.
Hmm.
yeah. What when you say that, I feel like for his little babies and his daughters, yeah, but his sons, no, his oldest sons are
I
wilding right
have,
now.
yeah, exactly.
His oldest sons are
Exactly. And I
wild.
really don't, yeah, and I really firmly believe that the apple don't fall too far
Yeah,
from
no,
the tree.
I don't.
So I
I think
don't, so
the
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some young lady or some young person that comes forward sooner or later and says, so yeah, his sons screwed
He
me
already
up.
said that.
There is already a son that actually has has some
That's already
accusations. So
happened. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I personally feel like.
Let's let Miss
Go
Nina
ahead.
chime in real quick. Yeah, I haven't heard your opinion on either of the two, one or the other. What are your
The only
thoughts?
thing I'm gonna say is unfair in regards to Diddy and anyone else that looks like us, that this is, and all of those other ones who are just as guilty and should face just as serious charges, because this stuff in our country wouldn't be able to go on for as long as it's been going on. Like Diddy's not new to this. He didn't invent this shit. Like, it happened to him. It was passed on. It's been passed on for generations. It probably happened, Shirley Temple. Look at Brooke Shields. Like, remember that Blue Lagoon? Like, this is not new to our country or the industry, right? Like, my mother used to say that all the time. It's like the stories remain the same. It's just the names that change, right? And it's only because we have the internet now that this stuff is being revealed. Like, so it's like, when are we again? I'm sorry to keep bringing it back to it, but like, it sums up to the people going to be like, enough is enough with this bull crap. Like, we don't need another study. We don't need another talk. We don't need another, we need to start putting our foots to some people's necks, because these laws you have in place to protect these people that make the laws that keep this system in place. Like the young lady said this, and I was saying earlier, I think it broke up. This system's not broken. And this is why I refuse to put my energy into it anymore, because I did it for years. Like, from when I'm about to be 50 in 75. And I marched, I planned, I prayed, I cried, I done it all, like the ones before us. When is enough enough? And like, this is the time. Like, if you The Fall of Babylon, like what Dr. John Henry Clark, Francis Quest Wilson, they said this time was coming. Like when the white people feel that they're about to lose this power, they're gonna start losing their mind. This is what we're seeing. Like, let's talk real, real. We gotta stop playing their game. Like, it's, because that's what we've done for years. We've done it their way. We've put on their masks. We've, we stepped down off the sidewalk out their way. We've done everything we could possibly do. So, like, it's time for us to start listening to and we don't have to plan for all of those like, pick up your books. Like the Black Panther Party, it's like a whole book called Organizing the Community. They break it down to the budget, what you need. Just do it. Like, enough. So when y'all ready, like, here I am. Like, that's what I do. Like, just do it. And that's what it's time to do in 2025. Like,
not only that, and
you had your
more
Jerry
than
Lee
anything,
Lewis,
we have to stop. We got to stop protecting these motherfuckers too. There's a Diddy in every city. In most cities, there's a few of them. We got a few right here in Portland. And these dudes are harming people, and we know that they're harming people. And when women speak up and they speak out because of who these men are and what they own and what they do in the city and who they are to people, and because they hand out some turkeys and some, shoes and a few other shoes or whatnot, then they're protected. As soon as a woman speaks out, then his goonies and goons and whatnot, and even some other women will have the nerve of a toothache to get on this woman, to threaten this woman via social media. Exactly. And right. Men too. Exactly. There are men that are being harmed. There are Diddies in every damn city. There are Diddies right here in Portland, Oregon, but don't nobody want to speak on that. Right here in Black Portland, there are Diddies right there in the damn group. I'm not going to name drop or nothing like that, so we can go on and move to the next question before I say something because I'm hot.
Hey,
like,
it
Diddy
is
was
what it
groomed
is,
for
man.
this.
I'm not gonna.
Who gonna replace him if we don't stop it? Like, we gotta stop the nonsense.
I think to follow up on what Raina said is I do think that, like, when it comes to like a cultural aspect, that we do feel this weird attachment to like the downfall of whatever Black celebrity or whatever it is. I feel like in the space of like protecting people, we do kind of have to just learn to like accept that just because they Black don't mean that they not fucked up. You know what I mean? Especially when they're in positions of success. Like, I think that we have this perception of like success. We're like, oh, you can't get there if you're Black unless you're like extremely clean. It's like, no, dirty business is dirty business. You can get rich. Anybody can get rich off of dirty business. And so I think that we have to like find a way to shed this perception of like Black success needing to be preserved because it's the representation of Black excellence. But it's like in all reality, it's not. You know what I mean? Like, especially when we get down to like the intricacies of what's required in those industries to be successful. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has like bashing Drake because of that same aspect, like the things he did to become successful while trying to be a representative of the culture. So it's like those two things eventually will not align, and that will be exposed, and we'll be able to see that, like, oh, you're not what we thought you were, even though you're what we know you are. You know what I mean? And so it's like we have to figure out, my personal opinion, how to navigate or like learn to just accept that, like, yeah, it's Diddy, but Diddy be diddly. You know what I mean? So like, let's just accept that reality. You know what I mean? And so it's like
it's almost a reflex sometimes, like when you see a news story and you see some, really heinous crime that happens on the news, and then you kind of wait inside you're saying, I hope it's not a Black person. I hope it's not a Black person. I hope they got the memo that we don't do that, right? But
one of my favorite radio shows. One of my favorite radio shows is The Breakfast Club, and whenever Charlamagne does like a crazy donkey of the day, they play a game called Guess What Race It Is. And I feel like we're playing that game every time we see a new headline. Like, oh, please, like, don't let it be one of us. You know what I mean? I felt the same way when that CEO got killed. I was like, thank God those are white hands. Like, thank Jesus that's a white man. Like, it's not one of us. You know what I mean? Because I don't want the CEO or whatever. Like, political violence is never okay, right? But at least one of us didn't shoot the man. You know what I mean? If it was one of us,
there's certain things that we don't do, right? It's not.
I would say something, but we're recording. I like Luigi at this point. I'm
sorry. Listen. Luigi, okay. I'm
on Luigi for now.
Hey, so
Oh
let me go to
man.
some of these comments
Yo,
real
the
quick.
young people are loving him, and like for those young people who are kind of Yo, the young people is loving him right now, and they got a lot of questions at why he's being treated a certain way. But yet, people who could run up in churches and kill people in prayer, or go to peaceful marches that people are just trying to make sure and people understand Black Lives Matter. They ain't charged as terrorists. That's what. So, and I also want to say something real quick.
Go
I
ahead.
work with young people. They are involved in out there. A lot of times we don't listen to them and we're not supporting them. And I'm going to call us out, like our generations, because I hope we can talk about the society is making this generation war. Like, I hear a lot of us say a lot of negative things about Gen point of view. They were stuck in the house for a long time. They lost a lot of socialization skills. We dropped the ball because we was trying to figure it out too. So we need to support our youth because they see what's going on and they want the change as well, but we silence them too much. So we need to be that microphone and give them that voice. They have a very wise mind when we sit, but they're being taught about anxiety and carrying fucking pets around and doing all this other extra shit other than opening your mouth and speaking your truth and demanding your rights. Like, that's what you need to do. Put the pet away, take it back to the pet store, and get out and get out.
Let me
Oh
get through a
man.
few of these comments that I posted.
I'm
I showed
sorry,
them earlier, but I'm gonna just walk through a handful. We got 2025, no more lies. Bobby says, so who is willing to plan a strategy right now? I will reserve a space to do just that. Emoja raised his hand. I feel like he wanted to say something, or maybe he was agreeing. Unfortunately, I didn't get it in the correct timing. And then Shantae, who's been here the whole thing, thank you for your comments. She says, I will participate. So I think there's
I think Emoji was probably.
Go ahead,
Emoji was probably raising his hand because I don't know if you noticed, but he actually has an event. I think it's on Sundays or something where he brings black men together or something. So I think he was actually raising an acknowledgement of who wants to make space for that. I think he was acknowledging what or responding to that gentleman's comments.
Who is willing to plan a strategy right now? Yes, Emoja does have a Sunday meeting with black men, and I haven't attended, but he always posts a video, and it's about health and about just connection. I don't want to speak for what his event is, but we promote it all the time in the group, and we'll have him on again. Of course, that's one of our brothers right there. Yeah, man, the youth is, I should know something about the youth. I got 7 kids, you know what I'm saying, from 30 to 5, you know what I mean? So I got Gen X, Gen Z, Gen Y, I got all the gens, you know what I mean? And it is a trip. It is a trip watching the difference, just even in the way I raised them based on societal influences. It's a lot different. My first son got hard me, you know what I mean? My son that's 5 years old, he just spoiled, you know what I mean? He's just
Because
completely,
you're a teddy bear, you're an
he's
old
the
man
ruler.
now.
He's ruling the home, you know what I mean? So but and then also at my place of work, man, I see there's a different level of attention from the people that are a little bit older, that have been around, that have been in the professional world a lot longer. Whereas, they're like, what can I do for my company? Whereas the younger people are like, what can y'all do for me? You know what I mean? So there is some difference there. I also think just the instant gratification, the instant answer with Chat GPT and AI, etc., makes them less curious. At least in some of my experiences, it's made the younger people a little less curious and a little bit more prone to just wanting the answer now, with no why behind it, with no reasoning, with no explanation, as if we don't have time for that. So I do wonder sometimes about is my experience with the younger generation differ from others, and what if y'all experience been? Maybe I would love to bring some younger people onto the Black Portland platform. Right now, ages are 25 to 45. That's our max. Or when I was showing some of the demographics earlier, we're 63% women, and we're from ages 25 to 45, which I think that's a great, that's a good age group span to have. But excuse me, but if we don't get into the grade schools, into early education, I mean, I see some of the way these kids be behaving towards their teachers and whatnot at school, in high school and whatnot. I feel sorry for their teachers, man. I don't know who raised them or what's going on, but teachers be getting a
I
cold
got
treatment
a
from some of these young people, man.
I got a question
That's
for
the
y'all
teacher's
as
fault or the school's fault. I used to be a teacher. I was a middle school
Mhm.
teacher back in North Carolina for like 20 years. I'm a social worker now. And I work with 18 to 21-year-olds that are aging out of the foster care system. So one thing I have to say with working with youth is I have learned the patience of like peeling back the layers. Like they give you this tough, hard exterior, but they so want to be heard, right? Like, so you have to take the patience of like nipping and chipping away and building that trust, because especially children who've been through trauma, you know, they have a lot of trust issues, and then they see what's going on with society, and they like wonder what the hell is wrong with us. Like my 19-year-old, she's like, "Ma," because I have to talk politics. Like y'all had asked earlier about talking to the youth. I have to groom her. Like she voted. Just because I don't participate, I'm not gonna take that away from her. I want her to go her path just like I did, right? So she's like, "Ma, they're saying things that I learned in middle school." I said, "First of all, you went to middle school in a black, you went up the block from A&T University, a black middle school. You had Miss Jones. Like we didn't play. Like you was groomed to understand how government worked." And she was like, "There's grown folks that don't understand that exactly." So we, like sister was saying here earlier, there's people don't know how they don't read. They're not educated. So if they're not educated, they're not educating their youth to to know and to understand. But it put up with the stuff that we put up with for so long anymore. That is what she said to me the other day in the car. She said, "Another reason we're not listening to you guys and we're not doing it your way is like, no, I'm not going to be doing 10 jobs for the salary of one, and no, you're not going to talk to me in your sort of kind of way." So in a way, I hear where they coming from, like, and I'm all for it. Like, yeah, tell them. So
Yeah.
I want to ask y'all as
I think
parents.
we need to give them a little more, props and support.
I want to ask y'all as parents.
Go ahead, sorry.
Something now you're fine. Something that has stuck with me when I was growing up is like I have this like little bit of fear of my mother. Like not like, oh, I'm terrified of what she's gonna do, but like I feel like that fear is like in tangent in connection with my respect for her. You know what I mean? Because it's like there's just certain things that I just won't do or won't say around or to my mom. You know what I mean? I feel like, do you guys think that there needs to be a little bit of like fear of like the like whatever, like the reprimanding from your parent, or like necessarily like your parents' reaction? Because I know my mom will get on my ass about certain shit. I'm like, you know what? I ain't even trying to deal with that for her. She got that, you know what I mean? So it's like I see that in youth now where like they don't really have any apprehension to the response of their parents. I'm like, shit, I could never. I couldn't fathom.
I can't speak to other
I think that you can
people.
replace fear with not fear, but one of the things that probably hurt you most was it's just disappointing your parents
Respect.
more than anything else. I don't want to diminish anybody in any way.
Yeah, you don't want to
You know
disappoint.
what
Well,
I'm
that's
saying?
what I'm saying. Like my mom was never.
I want you to shrink. I don't want you to diminish in any way, and I don't want to contribute to that in any way. I
Yeah, my
prefer
mom
that
wasn't
you
like a. My mom
say and
wasn't.
be disappointed in my disapproval, and I feel like that builds you up.
Yeah, my
So
mom
you're
wasn't
saying,
never like abusive. Like she was never like,
I'm
oh,
I'm
definitely
not
like.
saying that she was abusive. I'm not saying that at all, but I was just,
No, I'm
I
saying
just
when you're saying like shrink, like I know exactly what you mean, but she never made me like feel little. You know what I mean? It was more so like you were saying, like her disappointment in me. I was like, you know what? There's just certain things that like I just won't do out of respect for her. I just don't want to feel her disappointment. Yeah, I guess what I shouldn't say fear. I think fear is the wrong word, but like there is a level of like I am afraid of her being disappointed. You know what I mean? Like that makes me feel a certain
right.
way
Okay, so
in my
it sounds like more aligned than because I was hearing fear. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah. I was saying I ain't like just oh
I'm
my
like,
God, I ain't.
I don't want to shrink or diminish anybody. That's
go
what I
ahead,
was.
Kiyoshi. I think you had a comment.
I think there should be a difference between fear and respect. I want my daughter to know I'm a human being before I was your mother. And human beings are
Oh,
capable of
definitely.
anything, including your mother. I love you.
Mhm.
I love you. And I want you to, I try to look at it. It's kind of morbid a little bit, but I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. I want to live to be at least 100. You know what I'm saying? But tomorrow wasn't promised for anyone. So I asked her a lot of questions, so she could think on her own. But I wanted to know if I wanted to, I could. And there are people. You know what I'm saying? There are people who will. And sometimes I will verbalize to her, like when my grandmother comes out. My grandmother was born in 1930. She was cutthroat. She didn't play. She carried a pistol. She would slap the crap out of you in the pulpit at the church.
I know.
And I would tell her, my grandmother would have slapped you right now. I just want to let you know that. But I'm not going to do it because I don't hit.
Yeah.
You know
Nah.
But I want to let you know that some things that you say, you have to be mindful.
Right.
You might get different responses. I'm not going to
Yeah.
hit. But there
Yeah,
are
when you
people
say
who will. And
when you say whenever, like if I wanted to, I will. That's how my mom was. My mom was like, if I need to, I will do it. And I was like, oh, please, no. Like I don't. You don't need to. I swear you don't need to. Like you don't have to do that. Like we can figure out another. Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying. Like
love you, honey, because I love you. I won't hit you. But if you weren't you and you were
yeah.
else and you said that, it might be different. And
yeah, I do it to you. Yeah.
Love you.
Any other parents?
Yeah. My son he'll be 26 on the 4th. And so with him, well with Mason, I had to I broke a lot of generational curses with him. And so there's a lot of, keeping him in one school, the whole time and giving him a lot of stability and a routine and things like that. So he was a really, he wasn't a hard, he wasn't a kid that required a lot of, you know, redirecting and discipline and stuff like that. He wasn't as bad as I was uh, coming up. But then once he formed into like, adulthood, just like Kiyoshi had mentioned, I always reminded him, I'm not your friend. I am your mother, first and foremost, but I am also a human. And so I want you to always, feel that you can come to me with anything. And so sometimes the stuff that he comes to me with is like, oh shit, damn, that's a little much. Ooh, give me a minute. Let me smoke and give me about 5 minutes. you know, and then I'll come back and, but at the same time, I'm so appreciative that he comes to me with the stuff that he does come to me with. And it's just like, it's no filter, no holds barred. It's like, he calls me Raina. He calls me mom when he wants something. So he's always called me by my first name. He's also autistic, and so he called me by my first name. He called me what everybody else was calling. What nobody else around the house calling me, "Hey, mom, how you doing?" You know what I mean. So he's always called me Raina. And so we've always had just like a really close bond relationship. I mean, he'll tell anybody, and he'll tell me in a minute, and I'll tell him, you my nigga. He was like, yeah, I know.
Oh, man,
He'll come up, and he'll help me out with something, and just like Nia was saying, I ain't gonna be here long either. You know what I'm saying? I got some health shit and I'm real fucked up and whatnot. And so he'll come over, he'll be like, I'm like, thank you, so you're my nigga, I got you. It makes sense. And so I think it's just really about how the line of communication that you have with your child, because your child is not just, even if you have 2 or 3 children, just like Adrian was saying, they're all different. I mean, they're all like polar, opposite. You can have 2 kids raised in the same house by the same mother and the same father, and one will act like they was raised by apes, and the other one will act like they were raised by human beings. And you just never know what you're gonna get.
That's real.
You just
Miss
gotta
Nina,
hope that
Miss Nina, you got
good
babies
kids.
too? You got kids?
Yes, I have 3 young ones. My oldest is 19. My middle And that's young lady, and my son is in the middle, poor thing. He's 13, and my youngest is 10. So I moved here cross country with my three. We had a wonderful cross country 4-day drive, and it was a beautiful experience. So it's just been always me and my baby. I'm very like, mama bearish with them, and asking my children to operate in their own space, the way I want them to, operate, because I had to battle a lot of people to be able to speak my truth and be me and move the way I want to. And I want my children to have that freedom as well. So, it's been a challenge, but I'm excited because being over here and finding like a group like this and you guys, and like, feeling comfortable, and like, okay, now I feel like I can make over here home. Like this feels nice, and seeing my oldest, she loves it in this area, for the very similar reasons as I do, and she's really getting accustomed. So I'm happy. Like, my children see how hard I work, to build it up and move them. And at first, they was pissed, but now like she's really excited to be in this area. So I'm looking to see what y'all about to do, and I'm thanking y'all to allow me on this platform with y'all to be a part of doing it.
That's what's up. As the resident, most kids having. I'm usually the person with the most kids in the room, with 7. I had my first kid at 19, and I had my last kid at 46. So I've ran the gambit. I think times have changed. I think that my dad didn't play, man. He was a firefighter. Actually, there were 3 black men that were hired as the first firefighters in Portland, and my father was one of them. And so he used to do like 48 hours at the fire station,
Wow.
24 hours at home, then back to the fire station. So when he came home, he just didn't need none of that. You know what I mean? So if you did something, or my mom told him that you did something,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. Wear the switch. You know what I'm saying? Wear the belt. Take these licks, because I ain't got time for it. You know what I mean? And he went hard, like, and then, so it would be called
Right,
abuse
right.
today. I don't feel like I've been traumatized. Maybe I need therapy. I don't know. I don't feel like I was abused. I'm saying if we did today what my dad did to me, it would be considered abuse. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
I did
that's so
come with
sad.
a natural fear of my father. I was afraid that if I did the wrong thing, he was gonna whoop my ass. It wasn't I respected him too, right? But that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't respect. That was fear. I was afraid this man was gonna beat the shit out of me. If he
Yeah.
came home, mom would try, but she don't hit hard. So we just used to fake cry. You know what I mean? So if she knew we was faking it, we'd get it that much worse. My dad used to come home and I swear, he'll tell you this himself. He used to come home and say, I know y'all did something, so we just gonna get this out the way. You know what I'm saying? With no proof and no evidence,
Wow.
That's
you know
raggedy.
he did something,
That's
But
fucked
but
so
up.
we
was he
gonna get
was
it
he
out the
wrong
way.
though? Was he wrong though?
But not usually. Not I mean, we was good
Ah,
kids.
see?
We was good kids, man. Come on, man. We
Exactly.
grew up in the church
Proactive
and all
ass
that.
whooping.
But
You're
what I
right.
will say is this. What I will say is this: is that crack epidemic, and that whole year, the '80s, destroyed my family,
Mm.
destroyed us, because they went from doing weed and a little bit of coke and stuff recreational, and ran into this new drug that was like, oh, they just smoking the cocaine
Mm-hmm.
now? Oh, that's even better. Not understanding what the impacts it would have on them and on the community. And
Yeah.
that stripped away the black
Mm-hmm.
family, along with, when I had my first kid at 19, me and his mom, Nikki, we were welfare liaisons. So we used, as teen parents, we used to go talk to the people that ran welfare in Portland, and we talked to them about the fact that I can't, you guys will not let me live with her, because she doesn't get WIC, she doesn't get the free car seat, she doesn't get these things, because you're going off of my income at Burger
Mm-hmm.
King, and being a manager at Burger King, like that was so much income, we didn't need the help. And
Right.
so then what that does is that incentivizes you to
Devices,
not
yeah.
want to live in the home as a dad, or not have a job that's recordable. You see
Mhm.
what I mean?
Yeah,
In addition to that, why not give
That's the
me the
plan.
first?
That's their plan.
You see what I mean?
yeah.
Why not give
Welfare is the
me the
worst thing that
first
could happen to
so I
the
can
black
come
family.
home and be a man and say,
Right.
"Hey, I'm providing." Man, I don't want to get into that conversation. I'm just saying,
I think you're
Well,
going
why
down a
not
great
give you
path,
livable
though.
Well,
I
wages so
think
you
you're going
don't
no,
down a
just
great
like
yeah,
that.
path,
I
though.
mean,
so I can
taxes?
bring it home and show that I'm providing for my family, as opposed to saying, "Hey, you can't be here today because they coming and we
Mhm.
not gonna have this $300 rent. It's gonna go up to the real rent. So you got to leave today, and we got to close the closet. You know what I mean? So your clothes ain't showing." But I
Hmm.
also think that people in my generation that grew up
Mhm.
quote unquote fatherless for whatever reason, I do see a lot more men today, black men today, in their kids' lives, whether it be living with the mother or being an example or showing up for their kids. I can't speak for everyone. I'm 51. So when
Hmm.
I say my
Black
age, that's
men have
relative.
always been there.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't fall for that bull crap. Yeah, like
I'm
I hear what you're saying, bro. About but they
yeah,
have like let's look back at the stories in your family. Have they not? Has grandpa not always been there? Has uncle so and so not always been
that's
there?
real.
Like they
That's
have
real.
always been there. Like I
That's
love
real.
our people. Like they have always, despite what the picture society wants to paint of us. Like that's what I always say to my brothers. Like I always promote black men with their children. Like they've always been there, even when they had to hide in the closet, go stay at Pookie's, because so and so is coming through. They've always been there. Like, and then for the one, and guess what else they do more than any man that I could say in any other culture, and I'm gonna say it. They step up to the plate and take care of other babies, other men's children for the ones who get incarcerated or whatever. But our people, our women have always been the leaders of society that that just come in and organize and take shit under control. And our men have always been there, no matter how much they try to stop us. That's why they hate us so
Mm,
much. That's why they
mm-hmm,
Hmm.
hate us so much.
yep.
mm-hmm.
Because let's look at black people. There's no black land, y'all, right? So there's no other country that blacks are coming in from saying like, yo, I'm black American, right? So for years they've been trying to get rid of us, and we still here. As much as they have done, we're still here.
Yeah,
So like we have to build on that. Like we got to stop building on their fake story narrative and really take control of our stories and tell our truth
Hmm.
and shout it on the mountains and move on from there.
that's real.
And not only
I
that,
will
it's
say,
not that
I
black
went on my
men are not. We have to think about the reason why black men are not in the home. It's not that they don't want to be there. It's that some of them were really just too embarrassed to be at home because they cannot provide for their family. But those were not their fault either. Some of them were addicted to drugs. We didn't own no
Mhm.
fucking boat.
Hmm.
Some of them didn't
Okay,
have
talk
some
about
of
jobs.
it.
them were arrested
We didn't.
throwing
No,
gas.
no, seriously, exactly. Some of them, and we didn't own. We didn't. Like I said, we didn't own no boats.
Hmm.
They still in
You throw
jail
a
for
man in
weed
jail.
right now while
Exactly.
motherfuckers the opposite
Right.
is making millions
Exactly.
and
You
billions and
throw them
trillions in the
in
industry.
the
What
state
the
of.
fuck?
Let's take the state of
Like, don't get
Oregon.
me started, y'all.
Let's just take the state of Oregon just as an example. You take a man from his family for a minor little offense, okay? Because you've introduced crack cocaine into American soil back in the 80s, and then your wife decided to make her little go campaign to get little black kids to say just say no, knowing good and damn well that your husband was the reason why their parents were getting addicted and taken away from their taken away. Okay,
Hmm.
so you sit up there, their fathers get thrown in jail. While they're in jail, they have to work while they're in jail. While they're in jail, they're getting charged while they're in jail. So when they leave jail, they usually have a bill
Yeah.
when
Hmm.
they're let out of jail.
Yeah,
When they
yeah.
get let out of jail,
Mhm.
the felony,
I live
the jobs or whatever or not that
13th
they normally
Amendment.
that they qualified for before they got addicted to the dope that you brought over here on the boat that they qualify for is not going to hire them again because you know what? They don't hire felons anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
that man doesn't have a job. So what is he forced to do? He's
Hmm.
forced to usually go back to
Mhm.
what it was he was doing that got him arrested in the first place. But you know what? That's what he's going to do because it's going to feed his family. Either that or he's going to be too embarrassed to go home to his family. And that's not his fault because still, we don't own no boats and we don't own no big ass corporations and shit to be hiring us and giving us jobs, especially back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So they set up all these things to spin all these narratives about us, but they put us in these positions to be like, well, what the fuck are we supposed to do?
I think
And it
that
wasn't just to the fathers, but they
right.
started doing it and say, okay, well, the men, that's not enough. You know what? Let's make sure that we get these women strung out too.
Yeah.
And then you got all of us growing up in foster care and shit like that because our grandmothers can't take on 13 kids at a time because all of her kids are in jail or her sons are in jail and two of her kids are strung out and three of the other ones, she don't know where they at. All she knows is she got, a few of them over there at the house and she might have legal custody of a couple of the other ones. And the other ones, she don't know where they are. She don't know if they've been sold, traded for dope. She don't know if they're in foster care. She don't know nothing.
That's real. That's real. I'm gonna look at some of these comments. And Mo just say we live in a patriarchal system. This is why black men are to be made boys at every cost. Be very clear on that. And he also Shantae says it was all a trap to condition us. And then she also said we growing and we glowing. And we starting to wind down here. We didn't get to a few of the subjects, and that's okay. I love the fact that our conversations go where they are. I don't like them to be too extra structured. And I really appreciate everybody's input. I think one of the things that we did not address, I think one of the things we didn't foresee in this conversation is the idea that the youth are our future, and we need to have a commitment and in investing in them. I'm gonna read this last comment here. They said all the homes were destroyed from the Vanport flood, but sold the ones that were fixable to non-blacks. Facts. Meanwhile, our people were displaced. I could tell you, my grandfather, he was born in 1906. He died in 2009. He spent the majority of his life here in the Northwest. He owned a gas station in Portland before he could buy a home in Portland. So he was wealthy and well-to-do, and still wasn't allowed to purchase a home here. So my family go way back. We way back Portland. When I say Black Portland, like they came, a few of my people came from Idaho, a few of my people came from Florida to Youngstown, Ohio to Portland. But we talking about in the Portland where you couldn't buy a home if you were black. We talking about that Portland. But yeah, I do think that we got to come together and unite. I think that I think we're in a better condition right now as black people overall. I think that there are a lot more people that are conscious of these issues and that are doing things. That's why I don't like to allow posts in Black Portland that start off with why black people ain't, and you know what, only people I see doing such and such as
We
black
deny a
people.
lot of those posts too. We get a
Man,
lot of those.
we shut the post down. We not finna start off blaming black people. Don't never. As soon as I see that, I'm just hit decline. We don't even want to hear all that. If that's your mentality, you need to meet some new black people, because them ain't the black people that I see predominantly in my circles and in my life. You know what I mean? So, but with that, I want everybody to have I will end with one subject that we didn't cover, and I think this is a great way to end. And then, as usual, me and Daryl and Zai will stay a little after we let our guests go. But 2025 goals for Black Portland. So I'm gonna start with you, Raina. I'm gonna go from the left to the right on our screen. So Raina, if you have a goal for 2025 for you, for Black Portland, for Black people in general, what would you say that goal is?
That all of the network in Black Portland can make a cohesive community calendar so that we know who we can support on which days, and then we're not forced to support, one person on one day and then, you know what I'm saying, another person on another day, especially around Juneteenth and stuff like that. So I would really like to see something like that. come to fruition, where the networks and the orgs can, submit what they have on their calendar, maybe like once a month, and somebody can put it together and put that out and say, this is what's on the community calendar this day. And then, if somebody has something on the same day, then maybe they can get with each other and say, well, we're willing to move ours, you know, one day so everybody can come and support everybody.
We can
Yeah.
figure something like that out.
Yeah, we do have an app. I'm gonna just shameless plug. We do have an app called the XB Community app. It was made by us by Black Portland, and we do have a calendar on there. I try to put as much stuff that I know about in there. We have other people who create and promote shows and events that put things in there. But we definitely, if everybody would agree that that's a great place to put it, we'd have everything. So we do have that, and there are other orgs and different types of websites that also have calendars for the Black community. I'm not familiar with them though, but if I find out about them, or if you guys know, post them in the group, and I will also add those events to the app as well. But there is an app for that, and we're working on making it a little bit more. We're working on some things to make it more user friendly and where everybody can get involved.
I just, oh, and I'd also
Go
like
ahead.
to see Black Portland outside more.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's real. Y'all should have been at the
Yeah.
event. I missed the event last night. The mixer with Brent and Tiffany and David Ferguson and whatnot. But it was about maybe a little over 200 Black folks at that last night. My guy Wilson put it on. It was dope. We'll have the videos and whatnot. I couldn't make it because I got a bug going on in my house that I do not want to spread to more.
It's actually posted. It's actually posted in Blackboard. I thought I saw your video.
No,
The
I
mixer,
wasn't in
right?
the video. I posted some of the video that I got. We had some folks out there getting video, so we
Cool.
was there. I just couldn't come. I'm disappointed because I love Love Is Blind and I love Brett and Tiffany because of Love Is Blind. I'm a super fan. So anyway, so another story. All right, we on you, Kiyoshi.
We can only have one goal.
No, go ahead. Just take your time.
Okay, first, I just want to share some good news because I'm so grateful to Black Portland, and I love the little branch off chats. I just love seeing them grow. They're like little tiny babies that come out.
Shout out to the Spades group chat. Sorry, shout out to the Spades group.
Yeah, I think they're really beautiful, and I love to see like stuff being branched out. And so I created the Black Agenda because I'm someone who actually likes to do stuff about stuff. And so we had 2 events. We had a dinner that we came together and a couple of folks showed up. And we just had dinner together at Poshines, a Black-owned restaurant in North Portland. And we also had a civic engagement gathering. There was like over 30 people there. We had food. We educated people on it was Measure 17, how to create a measure, how to get stuff on the ballot. And then we actually did a mock Measure 17 trial so people would know, like when it was time to vote, how to actually do ranked choice voting. That was super dope. And so those were 2 cool things that were born out of Black Portland. So shout out. That was like really cool. So that's something I like to do, be more intentional about this next year in 2025. I like us to create a strategic plan. I like to actually put my skills to use for Black people instead of everybody else all the time. So I want to do that where we come up with strategic goals, that we develop an advisory group, and we actually make recommendations and set some goals for the next 5 years, or the white people do 30 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let's do something like that. And then I'd love to do some type of facilitation on the patriarchy, because after listening to Bell Hooks' The Will to Change, that's what I've been on. So I was on race, and now I'm on trauma and patriarchy, and how patriarchy is hurt everybody. The book, The Will to Change by Bell Hooks, changed my whole perspective on men and actually made me have more empathy for them, because I never really looked at how men have been oppressed. I didn't look at it. I just wasn't. It was just kind of this is a man's world. I'm a Black woman. I'm getting all the stuff. But then after that, I was able to have more empathy for my husband, and things that he can't even do psychologically because a patriarchy said you can't even do that. You do that, you're one of those. Men can't fully express themselves, and it makes it so that people aren't in the right roles because of how they look. Right? So I could be better. I'm really great at building things. I might be better than you, Adrian. Like, you know, and you might be better at cooking or something like that. And we're in the wrong rules because of how we look. And that is a detriment to everybody. So that's something I want to offer for the group, is to have either a conversation or like a series of short conversations around the patriarchy, dismantling that, and really identifying where is our leadership as human beings, like who's great at what and what do we want to lead, so that we can really make a collective action towards change. And I'm not going to complain about stuff. Let's just do it. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. Miss Nina, 2025.
All right. Well, yes, I just basically want to continue to network and, you know, get to know the people in my new neighborhood and just, you know, really learn the history and that's it of, you know, this area, and get actively involved with the right people. So yeah, I'm gonna take my time doing that, and looks like I'm off to a good start. So I'm really looking forward to working with all of you and continuing to, you know, grow into what I know and build with some great positive people doing positive things in the community.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank all three of our panelists for coming and sharing this 2024 recap. As always, it's been an amazing discussion. I can't wait till the next Black Portland Live. For those of you that don't know, we try to do it every last Sunday of the month. I haven't been as consistent as I had been in the past. I'm working on that now, and stop making excuses and just do it, because I think consistency is key. If people know we're having this conversation regularly, they'll join in more regularly, and then, you know, everyone can benefit from all this wisdom and all of these things that are being shared. So with that, I'm going to wish all three of you good night. I'm going to stay on with Daryl and Zai for a little while longer, but thank you so much once again. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
All right,
you.
ladies. Thank you so much. Happy New Year's.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Oh, we lost Adrian.
I took myself off, man. Boy, I need a producer. I need somebody.
Because you're old, man.
Technology is not your friend today.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, I need a producer. Somebody that's typing all this stuff and bringing the comments up and doing all that, so I could just plug into my router instead of going with the Wi-Fi, plug directly in, and be more useful.
I think you need to get with 5G. Just get with that 5G person; they'll hook you up.
Yeah, man.
Talk to Alberta.
I'm paying a lot for Xfinity, so the fact that yeah, anyway, man, you already know, bro.
talk to Alberta. You know what I'm saying? Alberta said she got you.
Alberta hook you up.
Alberta, we finna have to talk, man. Man, all right. Let me do this real quick, though. I want to show people what Kiyoshi was talking about real quick. So for those of you guys that are in the, hopefully it don't shut down, because this was shut it down last time. For those of you guys that are in the Black Portland Facebook group, when you're in the group, there are chats that are there are different side chats that are set up in the group, and each of these chats have a different topic. And many of you are in the chats and probably get annoyed with them because you don't know what they're about. But man, how do you go right here to chats at the top of your page? And there's a bunch of different chats in there. The Black Agenda is the one that Kiyoshi was referring to. So if you're interested in coming up with strategic plan for the future of Black folks here in the city and beyond, snowboarding, the Black Spades group, which is really active. They meet regularly. It looks like they having fun. There's a jobs board, a general chat, events, and then Blurred for Black Nerds. Well, I think they be talking about Dungeons and Dragons and all kind of stuff.
Comic-Con,
Star Wars,
Comic-Con.
Yeah. Exactly. And then
don't do us like that, man. We bigger than that.
What's that?
I mean, I said, don't do us like that. We bigger than that. The Blurs, we don't just do Dungeons and Dragons and Comic-Con. You know what I'm saying?
Harry Potter?
Tell us more.
So
Don't you?
don't hit us with the Harry though. You know, a good Hogwarts movie don't hurt from time to time. But um, we like I'm in that group, and from what I've seen from the conversation so far, it is a lot of trying to figure out how to come together and go to like anime events and stuff like that. Because Portland has a decent amount of them, and then a lot of the in person like activity we do would be like a board game or a video game. But I've seen a lot of people try to figure out how to set those up. Like, hey, let's go have a tournament on this game somewhere. You know what I mean? Like people trying to figure out how to bring that stuff together. But yeah, you know what I mean? We doing nerdy shit. You know what I'm saying? Anime, comic books. You know what I'm saying? Tech stuff, just nerdy shit.
That's dope.
cool?
That's dope.
Yeah, it's popping in there, man. If there are any other blurs watching this, it's popping in there. Y'all should hop in there. It's popping in there.
And I
I
will say
don't.
real quick, I will say keep the events and all that other stuff for the event chat or the general chat. But please don't put events in the job board and in the snowboarding. Know what y'all doing. Just don't go up on Facebook and start just doing whatever. Like
Mhm.
know what you're doing because this stuff is useful. And what happens is people that are genuinely interested in these different subjects get turned off because they start getting spammed with all this other stuff and they miss out on all of the great things that the group has to offer. I just want to scroll real quick just to let y'all know that it's not only drama happening in the group. People are looking for professionals. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's the one thing I forgot. Hey, what's going on with the chitlins, bro? Why do people not want chitlins to be posted in the group?
No, man. No, we
Because
don't
they are
know.
not healthy.
No,
You know what I'm saying? I
don't
feel them on
nobody.
that, right? But I figure just live and let live. If you want to eat it, go for it. But I don't really want to think about it. I tried to cook chitlins once, and the cleaning process was crazy. It's crazy. So that was the last
It's the
time I.
most disgusting thing ever, bro. It's like you're literally squeezing shit out of intestines. Like it's gross.
My mom told me I liked it when I was a little kid, but the first time I ever smelled somebody making it, I was done. I'm
You
not
know,
Yeah,
touching
I
this.
would even lie. The smell got to me when I first saw them, but like, or when I first was there, like my mom made them. But looking at them, I was like, why? I don't want to eat that, bro. Like that looks like roast beef. That looks like the type of we can't say it on the live, but it's like the bad roast beef. You know what I mean? I don't want it. It didn't look like something I wanted. You know what I mean? So I was like,
but it's
nah,
still, you know what? It's something that's still like it's a cultural, you know, thing from in the
yeah.
past. Some people like they still want to hold on to that, and I don't really fault them for that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to clown them if they like, it's like saying, "Oh, I hate sushi" or something like that. "Oh, sushi's so nasty. How can you eat raw fish?" Right? I mean, you could take it as that.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
and like I said, live and let live, but it is nasty. I ain't gonna lie, it's
Yeah.
nasty.
yeah,
I
it's
know
nasty,
dude
man.
left the group. Dude, I don't think he left though. He just threatened to leave, but I see he's still in there. But he was like,
Who?
so we selling chitlins now? Man, I'm through with this group. I was like, hey, buddy left cause of chitlins? Come on, bruh.
Yeah, nah,
Oh,
man.
hey, leave
Hey,
the group, but it's a lot of other reasons why you would leave the group than
Yeah, don't
chitlins.
crash out over chitlins.
Right.
That's not the one.
nah, I advocate anti-chitlin laws all across the black community. You know what I mean? We need to have some kind of
Uh,
meeting about
I'm
that.
with Daryl, man. To each his own. I agree. I feel like it almost. I think it almost take us back. You know what I mean? To take us
Yeah,
back a little bit and take the
It be
black
it
community
take us
back.
back 40 years every time you take a bite. You know what I'm saying? You setting us
Start
back
singing
centuries with a
spirituals
plate.
and
You know
shit.
what I mean?
Take a bite, start singing "Wade in the
Wait and yo.
Water." Hey, so do you guys have any goals or anything you guys want to say for 2025 with the group, with
um
yourself?
as far as the group goes, I definitely would like to see a little bit more like organized engagement. You know what I mean? I want to see, and I'm sure that on as moderators and admins, that some of that responsibility falls on us. But I do want to see, like you were saying, with the chats, like I want to see stuff more intentionally utilized. You know what I mean? Rather than just the page being a space where you can complain or either jump down somebody's neck in some comments. You know what I mean? Like we should find a way to get more proactive unification. And we have a shit ton of events going on, and almost every other day I see somebody else posting a different one. I would like to see us more intentionally directed toward those as a group. Like it's not like we can just be like, hey, comment or interact with this. Just I would like to see people do that more intentionally. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
um, yeah, other than that, I think the group is kind of at a very interesting space because there's like a fine line between like the chaos and like the niggotry, and then there is like I want to say like the appropriate or proper, but like there is a space where like it's less niggatry. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
people are actually engaging in certain things. So I think we're in a great space. You know what I mean? It's fun and it's serious, and it's like a great mixture of both. And like I say on every live, your algorithm determines what you see. So don't be mad at us if you jump in the chat, the group, and all you see is some foolery or some hair, some wigs or whatever. Like that's on you. You should use your Facebook differently and more so you can see what you want to see in the group. It ain't really got nothing to do with us on this end. Like
Or
you
be
going
intentional, intentional about going to the group, because what
yeah,
shows up on your
Hmm.
timeline is dictated by your algorithm. But if you
yeah,
Right.
click on Black Portland and go to the group, you can
Hmm.
sort it from latest to most recent,
yeah.
etc. But yeah, if
Right.
you're just looking at what pops into your timeline and everything that pop in is negative, that's because your algorithm negative, bro.
That's
Hmm.
right.
What
Yeah.
about you,
Sorry.
I'd
Daryl?
like to see more collaboration between some of these organizations that are providing some of the same services. One thing I want to give Black Portland a shout out for is like if people need resources and you know they need assistance or they need a product or service, Black Portland has been super effective. There's absolutely no doubt about that. It's been absolutely super effective in providing people with aid and direction should they need it. People ask for jobs, they ask for social services, they ask for places where they can find to pay their rent, to pay their utilities. And it has absolutely been a very, very valuable resource. We see that each and every day. People thanking Black Portland for that, or the people that participate in Black Portland, and some of those people that provide that stuff. I want to thank them, right? Because we never really get a chance to address them and say, thank you for providing those services. Thank you for sharing those resources that are available to the community out there. But I would like to see some of the organizations that put on events like the Mixer. I think it was a collaboration of several different organizations. It was Wilson's organization. And I think it was some other people. I saw the Word is Bond guy that was there. And I think when you have those collaborations, you really have a great event,
Mhm.
a great, powerful event. And I like to see more of that happen.
Yeah, same. I agree with what both of you are saying. I love the. I will say this: don't just go in there and be like, I need $100. Here's my cash app. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you guys.
Like,
Like as far as the
I,
resources, go ahead.
no, yeah, yeah. I tend to decline those posts from time to
Hmm.
time. I understand that you might be in need, but I think there's you. I think what you're probably more in need of than $100 right now is some resources and some way to.
Right.
Maybe you just need $100. You know what I'm saying? There's probably times where that's what you need. I'm just saying that this, it just gets to a point because sometimes I see like repeat people over and over
Hmm.
and over again asking and asking and asking, and the thought comes to mind like, what is it that you really need? You know what I
Right.
mean? What kind of help can we give you holistically, right? So that you don't have to feel like you have to come in here and ask for gas money every other day. Is there a job
Mhm.
out there for you? Are there some resources for you? Are there organizations that provide you with gas money? You know what I mean? I don't know, but I think
Hmm.
the way that you ask can lead you to more resources as opposed to just trying to find a short term, a short time benefit, something that could probably give you more longevity. Again, from time to time, I will, if somebody say, "Hey, my baby needs some diapers," da da da, and we post that. Most black people will lead you to some resources for some diapers before they just gonna give you $50 for some diapers. You know what I'm
Yeah, that's
saying?
what I would say too. When you're looking for some help like that, post what you specifically need before you post the money you need for it. Like be like, hey, I need XYZ, and we know it'll cost whoever whatever. Just say what you need. Be like, I could use some vegetables for tonight to eat. I don't have anything to feed, or I don't have anything to make whatever you're trying to do. Just say you need that thing, and you're almost guaranteed to get some help. Like even
Right.
people don't fucking like me. I get help when I ask for stuff in there. So it's like
Yeah,
I guarantee you somebody will help. Somebody will assist you with whatever you need or you're looking for.
that's
Hmm.
real. I'll say for me for 2025, I think my goal for Black Portland is a lot of what has been said. How do we get more organized as an entity, as Black Portland, to move our audience to action? You know what I mean? Whether that be supporting Black businesses, Black events, getting involved in organizations, getting involved politically. How do we use our platform to move Black people to action? I would like to see more people participate in the Black agenda and participate in Wilson's event. I mean, it was dope. It was sold out, so I can't say more people than that. More events like that, you know what I mean, taking place. And for people to just know that it's happening, which, man, I don't know how much more promo we could do. You know what I'm saying? Like, we on the feature posts, we in the Instagrams, we sharing in the different chats, and then people still like, I didn't even know it was happening. You know what I mean? So I think that the days of putting a flyer on the pole or going to Fast Trip or something like that, seeing all that stuff is over. You know what I mean? If you want to know what's going on, pay attention. I think that's what I say. But yeah, more involvement in events. I think Black Portland needs to have more Black Portland sponsored events. And, you know, I think that it's just hard sometimes to get the support for that, just because people always just want to throw their own thing, which I understand. But man, if we could get like a team of people together that were really interested in putting together specific Black Portland events, I think that'd be dope. And then I'm looking forward to the Black Portland Awards that we're trying to put together for May of 2025, when Black Portland becomes officially 10 years old. We want to just celebrate that with this a celebratory event, and we also want to give out the Black Portland Awards. I'm looking for some good categories. I don't want it to just be just regular shit. I want to get something interesting, like most like Tati. She'd be nominated for you know what I'm saying, most outlandish poster. You know what I mean? It's not outlandish, but like
I feel like
most smoke caused by one post. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I feel like
Right.
outlandish wouldn't be a good category because we tend to stop the crazy shit. We tend to
Right,
stop the
right,
ones
right. But it's some,
that
but
We should
yeah.
that's just a
we should definitely have one. I think that Zai would be nominated for, and it would be the most outrageous introduction. Remember when he first came into the group?
yeah.
That was wild. I don't think we've had
Hey
any
man,
before or since. That was
hey
the
man.
most.
I don't know what to say. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to kick no dirt up, but I kicked some dirt up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It happened.
Definitely a category though.
yeah. So let's get to thinking on that, and then we want to post the categories and the nominees in the group and have the group vote. So I think
Yeah.
that's gonna be dope. So with that, man, we over time a little bit. I want to respect everybody's time. Those of us that are participating and those that are watching. I thank a lot of the commenters, and hopefully we can get some more traction with these Black Portland Lives. Much love to y'all brothers, man, and have a happy new year if we don't talk, which we probably won't. You know what I'm saying? But have a happy new year, man. Don't
You
drink
too,
too
man.
much.
Yeah.
Take care
Happy
of
New Year's,
yourself.
man.
All right, man. Love y'all, bro.
All right, man. Take it easy.